We got some great news to discuss on today's edition of the Bulls Report. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, could a trade finally be coming for Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic? This was coming in from ESPN as the Bulls are expected to shop Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic at the NBA trade deadline. Now, I will say this, we have heard this report for the last two trade deadlines, and still a trade has yet to come to fruition. But after the start to this season and kind of reading the tea leaves of what the Bulls did this offseason, I can confidently say this. Both of those players will not be on the Bulls by the end of the season. But, guys, if we get any more updates around a trade involving LaVine, Vooch, even maybe a guy like Torrey Craig, Javon Carter, please hit that subscribe button. And if you guys want to start having daily videos here on the channel, if we hit 11,000 subs, I'll do my best and try to get you guys a Bulls video every single day talking around your favorite basketball team. So please hit that sub button. And then also on today's show, we will be talking about that embarrassing performance that the Bulls had against the Mavs. All right, so my initial reaction to this report was, one, I was a little skeptical, but also two, trade them for nothing. Like, I'm not concerned about the Bulls getting draft picks. I'm not concerned about the Bulls getting young talent because I think both these guys are on, two pretty untradeable contracts, like LaVine making $43+ million over the next couple of years. Like, if you can just move LaVine for nothing, I think that would be a win for the Bulls. And then the same thing with Vooch. Even though Vooch has had a good statistical season, like if you just go look at the box scores every game, you're like, oh, Vooch is a pretty good basketball player, but he is so bad defensively. Like, that one play that stands out from yesterday's game, it's a sideline out of bounds for the Mavs. Vooch is guarding Gafford, and literally there is no action. Gafford just beeline cuts to the rim, and it's just over the top. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, what the hell is Nikola Vucevic doing? So, in my opinion, I understand I would like to get some draft picks. I would like to get some young players, but I just don't think that is too likely. So I am okay with the Bulls just trading away from nothing. And I think this is clear. The Bulls' number one goal, probably starting with that loss versus the Jazz at home when they didn't have Lauri Markkanen. Because, we had a glimmer of hope there for a little bit that maybe this team could be frisky, but, that was just not to be the case after the last two nights. The Bulls' number one goal this year is to tank and to try the land Cooper Flag. But also, there are a ton of good draft prospects this year outside of Flag. Like, you got two dudes at Rutgers. Ace Bailey is another very, very athletic wing. And also, like, with Modest Buzelis, who we'll talk about here in a second, he looked really good yesterday. If you could pair up Modest with either Cooper Flag, Ace Bailey, maybe you could try to replicate what the Boston Celtics had built with Tatum and Brown. Obviously, they'll require those two guys, to reach that level of play. But, man, I think there's a chance the Bulls end up with Flag. But moving off these guys, just tanking this season, like, it may be the best option for the future. Because if we keep this group together, we're not winning a playoff game. We're not making the playoffs. And we got to kind of look at the future of this Bulls team, instead of just looking at the near future and landing Cooper Flag. I mean, there's no bigger needle mover in the NBA besides getting a absolute generational prospect. But let's get some more positive news out there. A lot of negativity coming from my mouth on this channel over the last couple of weeks. This man right here, I was so big on him heading into this draft. I thought the Bulls had actually no chance of getting him. I only did a couple videos on Modest because I thought he was a lock to go to the Pistons. Instead, they took the guy from the G League, Ron Holland. But Modest yesterday in his first game getting more than 9 minutes. Thing I love the most, well, one, the three-point shooting. Awesome seeing him knock down 3 of his 4 attempts. But him hitting the boards, also had 2 blocks and a steal yesterday. We felt his athleticism, and I thought the one play that stood out to me was Luka was driving on, I forget who was guarding him for the Bulls, but Modest was at help side. His man was in the corner. Luka just bullied his way down below. Modest came on the help, was able to get a block. I thought that was a very high IQ athletic play. But, in the end, the Bulls, they were off yesterday. And, somebody who has been really disappointing this season, actually 2 guys, Kobe White. I just feel like he is playing this year too much of an AAU brand of basketball. Like, he's starting to look like Cam Thomas to me. And Cam Thomas is one of my least favorite players to watch in the league. He can put up a bunch of points, but I just don't think his shot quality, I mean, honestly, it might be the worst in the NBA. And I feel like Kobe's kind of fallen victim into that. But again, I don't know if that would change once Vooch and LaVine are off this team and truly the whole offense can be ran through him. But, I mean, his running mate, his guard, I mean, first off, Kobe, 3 of 13. Dude, Ayo Dosunmu, he was 0 of 7 from downtown to start this game. I mean, he was just chucking. And, it's so funny. I like that the Bulls are now, like, they're number one in pace. They're putting up a lot of threes this year. But the one thing that I just don't really understand is, like, you have a bunch of non-shooters just chucking threes. And maybe the Bulls are just trying to get a more of an entertaining brand of basketball, as they have been so boring the last couple of years. And at least this year, like, they're a fun watch. Like, they'll give up 120 points a game. I mean, they're going to be a terrible basketball team, but at least they're pushing the pace. But, hey, still, you're taking 45 threes a game, and back-to-back games you get held under 100. I mean, that's just embarrassing. But we'll talk about this game here more in a second. But if you guys want the Bulls to finally trade Vooch and LaVine, just hit that thumbs up icon for me. Like today's video, as I am hoping that this trade deadline will finally be the year that these two are off my favorite basketball team. Now, we'll wrap up my thoughts about the Mavs game last night. But first off, got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. If you guys download the PrizePicks app today, use promo code CLNS when you sign up today. You guys will actually get $50 instantly when you create your first $5 lineup. The best part is you don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. So what is PrizePicks? PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. I'll tell you what, Bulls games, they're going to start to get really ugly here in the near future. If you guys want to add some more juice, increase your viewing experience, creating a PrizePicks lineup for every game is what I do, so it can keep me entertained watching the Bulls get blown out for probably most of the games for the remainder of this season. But check them out. PrizePicks.com/CONS. Plug in promo code CONS, and you guys will get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Best part is you don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. So shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. Run your game. Vooch, another efficient 14 and 10. He's just a walking double-double, but yet again, he can put up this stat line, and he was still a net negative out there on the basketball court. Now, I understand Daniel Gafford's playing next to Luka Doncic, but I would take Gafford on my team any day of the week over Vooch. He's athletic. He's a lob threat. He plays his tail off. And Vooch, just yet again, when I watch him, I feel like he does not give a shit about playing for the Chicago Bulls. Almost I feel like Vooch, like his kind of body language is like, oh, I'm too good to be on the Bulls. I don't know why I'm here. And it just pisses me off. Like, he is truly one of my least favorite athletes I have ever watched in my life. And I hate saying that, but his body language, his attitude, his lack of hustle, like, he is, like, if I ever want to become a basketball coach, or once I, hopefully have a son here in the near future, and let's just say my son wanted to be a center, he got blessed with some height, I would literally turn on Nikola Vucevic tape and be like, that is everything you don't want to be in an NBA player. Yes, he is skilled. Yes, he has good touch. But still, he just impacts losing at the highest level in the NBA, and he gets his ass kicked against other physical, athletic centers every single game. Like Gafford, what was his move to beat Vooch yesterday? I'm just going to sprint up the floor. I'm going to rim run, and Vooch's slow ass with no hustle, he can't catch up to me. But it was funny watching Luka last night. Sorry for no headshot on this, but I felt like Luka, it was like you got like the varsity player in high school where he goes and he practices against the freshman team. Like, literally, that is what it looked like. Like, that one move he put on Patrick Williams, had him on skates, and then he gets to the lane. He goes flat-footed. He doesn't even jump. He just goes, oop. Like, it looked like my dad playing against me in the backyard when I was 7 years old. It was embarrassing what the Bulls put out there. But Kyrie had a massive start to this game. Then he kind of slowed off at the end. But, this game got out of hand pretty quickly. So Kyrie just kind of took the back seat. But Patrick Williams, again, disengaged on offense. 4 shots a game for a guy who's making $90 million over the next 5 years. It's a joke. I honestly, Patrick Williams' calling card was probably being a very, very good wing defender. I don't think Patrick Williams could guard me if we played one-on-one, and the Bulls just overall defensively are one of the worst teams I've ever seen. One thing, though, Josh Giddey, I know you had that one game where you're 4-4 from 3. I understand that's kind of the goal of Billy Donovan. Run up the floor, chuck up a 3 immediately. But those 2 threes he had in the second quarter where he just clanked front rim, like, I was about to go to American Airlines because I'm here in Dallas. I was about to go to the game, buy a last-minute ticket, and just yell at Giddy. Like, it is so frustrating watching this team play basketball. Yes, they're entertaining. Yes, they push the pace a lot, but still, yet again, like, they just play an ugly brand. Like, they play loser basketball. And, a lot of that does go on Billy Donovan, but I also think most of it, goes on, these players in this roster that we have. Dalen Terry yesterday, 10 points. I honestly don't think Dalen should be on the Bulls next season. I think he's just not an NBA player. Jalen Smith, I'll tell you what, every time I watch this guy, he impresses me, even though, again, I hate guys who just look at box scores and talk about impact on the game. But I thought Jalen Smith played a better game of Vooch, and he was 1 of 5, and Vooch was 7 of 10 because he brings it defensively. He's an athletic guy. He can also stretch the floor a little bit, even though he was 0 for 3 yesterday. So I liked what I saw from him. Another young cat, I thought Julian Phillips, I will give him credit here. He always plays hard, and that's something I respect because when you're on a bad team, especially in the NBA, and you're losing by 20 almost every single night, it's got to be tough to stay engaged. But the Bulls, they got the Timberwolves tonight. Probably going to be another 20-point blowout. But again, that's great news. We should all be rooting for losses. Go get Cooper Flag. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, give me a C red down below in the comment section. And we will see you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.